You're watching Creekbox TV.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Sports Talk. We're live here on Creekbox TV. I'm Alan Henley, here with a good buddy of mine, John Davis. Played ball together, man.
Yep.
He's running for sheriff, man. We appreciate you taking the time and come be on Sports Talk and talk about campaigning and all that's going on. John, tell us a little bit about your family and yourself right here for everybody can hear.
Okay. As most people probably know me, I graduated high school here way back in 1985.
Been a while.
Been a while ago.
That's right.
I married my school sweetheart, Marion Cason, and we've been married 33 years now.
That ain't included the time you dated in high school.
No, that's
about 40.
Have to add about 4 to that.
That's right.
But we've got 3 children. Christopher, he works with federal probation folks up in Macon, and Hannah and Sarah. Hannah works with DFAX, and Sarah, she's a stay-at-home mom right now.
That's right.
We got two small grandbabies, grandboys. One's 3, one's 3.5.
So they ain't gonna be small. I've seen them.
No,
Both
no,
of them gonna be grown.
just enjoying the family,
That's
but
right.
That's kind of where I'm at right now. So
Now, John, you just retired here this past couple of months ago, January.
I did back March 1st. Retired with 30 years of law enforcement experience with state law enforcement, Department of Community Supervision, which is the old probation and parole division.
Man, you worked there for 30 years. When you got out of high school, I know you went to VSU a little bit and joined the service.
Had a short stay at Valdosta State originally, and had a good time. Had a little.
You went longer than me and Haraway.
Too much of a good time, and then went into the Air Force, and proud to say that I'm a veteran. Spent 4 years in the Air Force.
And man, doing all that, do you think that's helped prepare you to get you ready to run for sheriff? I mean, how long have you been thinking about running for sheriff?
I've been looking at it about the last 10 years, trying to just look at where I was going to end up in my career with probation and parole, and kind of how, the race was going to come, what year it was going to come on, and it just happened to work out just right where I could retire and then run. So.
Man, you've been in it so long, John. What's some of the changes that has occurred from when you first got in law enforcement until now, good and bad?
Well, years and years ago, you didn't have the dangerous drugs that we have now. In most places, and even in Homerville, you got marijuana, you got prescription pills, you got methamphetamine, cocaine, crack cocaine, and just recently we found some heroin here in the local area. But you got things that if kids try, they could be hooked and even kill them, the first time they try. Right. So it's just gotten tremendously dangerous. And the people that you're dealing with is tremendously dangerous.
That's right.
I mean, they're younger, they're stronger, they're faster, and most of them don't see any type of consequence. They a lot of them come from single parents, so they don't have that discipline at home. So it's just dangerous.
Man, it is. And with you working and retiring, you have already a relationship with most of the judges and DAs around. Not just Clinch County, around all of South Georgia, I would say.
Right. Yeah, within my career, I got promoted back in 2014 to be the Chief Probation Parole Officer with DCS. And so I had a good working relationship with both of our Superior Court judges, our district attorney, and our public defender's office. And I had to work closely with all 5 sheriffs in all 5 counties in the Lappaw Circuit, which is Clinch, Atkinson, Lanier, Cook, and Berrien, and all of the chiefs of police as well. So, right. I've kind of had a unique view of our sheriff's department because I've been able to kind of stand back from a distance. Close enough to them, I can see what's going on and what's not going on, and what these other agencies are doing, and what we're not. So.
Now, John, do you think in the future, I mean, I know with all the technology, now with this virus, let's first go there, man. It's hurt all the candidates, man. I know when we first started, y'all was going door to door, everybody campaigning. Now it's virus, everybody had to stay at home. I know you're trying to catch up now. You're doing a lot on social media.
Yeah.
Now you're catching up. Man, and let me get this right, the election is
June the 9th will be
June
the
the 9th.
primary. Yeah.
so, man, are you trying to catch up and go see everybody that, just beat the bushes, I
Yeah,
guess?
yeah, we're just trying to play catch up. The last 3 weeks I hadn't done a whole lot door to door just because I respect other people's homes and
That's right.
opinions.
That's
I
right.
don't want to put them in a bad place, and they don't want you there. Just in the last couple of days, started trying to beat the bushes a little more. I made a pact early on that I would try to see each and every person in Clinch County face to face. I got a long way to go to catch up on that, but I've seen a lot of people, talked to a lot of people. I've enjoyed that part
That's right.
of it, being able to talk to people and say, just give me your ideas, give me your views, give me your suggestions and opinions on what I can do if I get elected to help make Clinch County a better place.
And, man, getting out there talking to people, John, what are some of the concerns in the public that people going to vote? I mean, what are their main concerns in Clinch County, would you say?
Well, I think drugs is probably the main thing. They're concerned, especially the ones that have got teenagers coming
right.
up. They're concerned that we're not doing enough. That we're only current administration's only reacting to something if something happens. My policy is to be proactive. I want to get some proactive approaches and steps out there ahead of time, because we got to get ahead of these things. We got to get ahead of drugs and gangs and crime. We got to get ahead of it. We can't wait till it happens. We got to get ahead of it. But I think one of the other things that I'm hearing a lot is coming from taxpayers' money. They feel like that our current administration is wasting some tax money. I think they've bought 10 new vehicles in 3.5 years. We've had to close our jail, and I've looked at the numbers, and we spent a lot of tax money out of Clinch County taking our inmates to Coffee County.
Now, is that something you're going to look at if elected, opening a jail, getting somehow, bringing?
Yeah, I think you have to. How can you justify to a taxpayer that it's costing $200,000 more to house your inmates in Coffee County than it did here in Clinch County?
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, and it's tax money. We gonna, I guess my idea would be, I think the best idea would be a tri-county jail.
That's right.
I think we've talked about that several times, but you need your inmates to be at least in your circuit. Going to Coffee County, that's completely out of the circuit, out of the county and out of the circuit. We need our inmates to be within our circuit. Number one, you're going to save money with transportation and the meal cost and the medical supplies and that sort of stuff. And two, there's a new approach when you're building a new jail now. The old approach is we need to, go to Coffee County and load up our inmates and bring them back to Clinch County for court or, whatever. The new jail approach is they're building a new jail. They're putting mini courtrooms in those jails, offices in those jails, so that not on the day of big court, but when you have probation revocations and those type things, bonds, misdemeanor court, and that sort of thing, that you can just bring the inmates down the hall to the mini courtroom, and the judges and the lawyers and the DA, public defender, magistrates, they'll all go to the inmates rather than taking the inmates to the jail.
That's right.
So it's a more efficient approach. I don't know if Clinch County is ready to build a new jail, but obviously, we can't justify to the taxpayers continuing to take our inmates to Coffee County for sure.
That's right.
So
That's right.
if we need to renovate our jail, you know, that's an option. So,
Well, man, we're going to take our first break, and we're going to come back and talk to Mr. John Davis about running for sheriff here in Clinch County, and we'll be right back.
Camping World of Valdosta, located in Lake Park, is your one-stop destination for all your camping needs. Stop by to see your dreams of quality time with your family become a reality. Whether it's tailgating with your air-conditioned camper, taking a trip to the mountains or beach with your family, or driving your motorhome to a faraway destination, Camping World has it all. Let us put you and your family in a camper for as little as $99 per month. And remember, when you buy a camper from Camping World of Valdosta, you receive a free Elite Good Sam membership, roadside assistance, and travel assist for 1 year.
Since 1972, Popeyes has been serving up mouth-watering, delicious, hot, and mild fried chicken and chicken tenders from its Louisiana kitchen. You know about our great chicken, but have you tried our tasty seafood? All of our menu items come with a Southern style all their own. On your way to or after the game, stop by Popeyes, and remember, we can handle all your special event catering needs. Conveniently located on Memorial Drive in Waycross, Popeyes puts a piece of Louisiana in every single meal. Homerville Jewelers on East Dame Avenue is your headquarters for bridal and baby registry. If you're looking for that special gift for the bride and groom or that perfect gift for the new baby, look no further. We also have a variety of diamonds, gold, sterling silver, watches, and necklaces, and can perform jewelry repair. No need to shop out of town. We can supply all of your gift and jewelry needs. Let Vicki Young and staff serve you at Homerville Jewelers, East Dame Avenue, Homerville. Mike's Golf Carts and Power Sports in Douglas has the cheapest prices in South Georgia and a huge inventory of new and used gas and electric golf carts and off-road vehicles. Mike's also has parts and accessories and proudly serves customers across the states of Georgia, Florida, and Alabama. Whether you stop into our store or shop with us online, we have everything you need for Can-Am, E-Z-Go, Club Car, and Yamaha. 0% financing available for qualified customers. Mike's Golf Carts and Power Sports in Douglas, Georgia. Lutz, Brown, Pigler, and Manley Insurance Agency is locally owned and has been a part of the Homerville, Clinch County community for many years. We make it a priority to know our clients on a personal basis and take pride in customizing insurance coverage for the particular needs of each customer. We offer all lines of insurance, including auto, home, business, life insurance, annuities, and bonds. Lutz, Brown, Pigler, and Manley Insurance Agency, East Dame Avenue, Homerville. Go Panthers! You're watching Creekbox TV.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Sports Talk. I'm Alan Hanley, here with my good buddy John Davis, who's running for sheriff here at Clinch County. John, we were talking when we first come on, tell us a little bit about yourself. Man, tell us some of the accomplishments, some of your professional accomplishments that you've achieved over 30 years of working with the state.
all right. Well, after a short stay in the military, in the Air Force, Marion and I decided to move back to Homerville and start our family here in Homerville. We love this community, and this is where we grew up, and this is where we wanted to raise our family at. So I started my career with Georgia Department of Corrections within the prison system. Worked over at Valdosta State Prison for a couple of years, and then transferred over here to Homerville State Prison when they opened.
That's right.
The old elementary middle up into prison. It was a Homerville Parole Center first, and then a prison next. So I stayed there, and then in 1999 I finished up my bachelor's degree over at Valdosta State University in criminal justice, and then transferred over into probation side of Georgia Department of Corrections. And I worked with a probation caseload and worked all 5 counties here in the Lap Hall circuit at one time or another. Spent about 10 years working a caseload. In 2012, we had a shortage of trainers with the agency, Georgia Department of Corrections, and I was asked by the commissioner. I was an adjunct instructor, and I was asked by the commissioner to come on full time to just help the agency out until they could get some more trainers trained. So I did that, and I was assigned to the southwest area, which was basically from Homerville up to Albany, all the way over to the Alabama line and to the Florida line.
Now you still, because I remember you go to Forsyth too,
Yeah.
several times.
Yeah, several times a week. So I had a big area there, and what I did was I went around and did our annual training for our officers, which is 20 hours a year of classroom training. And then we had practical training. I taught them how to and research on the Glock 40 caliber pistol and the hand-to-hand combat, the defense tactics that we teach, and also did American Red Cross instruction as well, CPR and first aid. So did that for about 12 to 18 months. Then I interviewed for a promotion over in Waycross at one of our facilities, Rouse Day Reporting Center. And that may have been the most rewarding position I was in, because what it was a new facility that came from the governor's criminal justice reform, where somebody that was on probation that had substance abuse problems could report there and stay there all day, but then go back home at night. And that was saving taxpayers money on having, if you had them incarcerated, you'd have to feed them and pay their room and board and that sort of thing. So that was a way that the Department of Corrections was trying to save money and get to the root of those individuals' problems. So that was a rewarding position there. And then in 2014, I went for another interview and got promoted back here in the Lappaw Circuit for the Chief Probation Parole Officer over the Lappaw Circuit. So from 2014 until just this past March, I was the Chief Probation Officer.
But now everybody could see you at the rec park. What was you doing at the rec park all them years, man?
Well, got involved when my kids were real young. Got involved with the rec park.
Coaching. I mean, you coached all your children.
Coached all my children. Yeah. Got involved and just basically wanted to be more of a public servant and do what I could to make the community better. Got on the rec board shortly after. Became the chairman of the rec board and stayed on it for about 20 years.
And tried to get the new rec park. That was from day one. I mean, it took a while, didn't it?
Yeah, from the time I became the chairman, we started working on going after a new rec park, and I think it took us 12 years before we ever broke ground.
That's right.
We worked hard for 12 years just trying to, make plans, master plans, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and then the biggest thing was just trying to figure out the money, working with the city and the county on getting those funds available to do it. But proud that I was able to do that. It was very rewarding. As you know, a lot of that time you were the rec director.
You can survive at the rec park. You can survive it.
Yeah, that's right. And I tell you, my job, especially when I was over at Rouse dealing with the substance abuse folks, and then when I was here working as a chief, and like you had to do with rec park, you have to deal with all facets of the family.
That's right.
You have to deal with the mama and the grandma.
That's right.
And you have to deal. I had to deal with the victim on one side and had to deal with the probationer on one side and the family on the other side. So, you get a wide view, of.
Let me ask you one question before we go any farther. You was talking about substance abuse. Now, do you think, John, a lot of people think, well, just lock them up and send them away. But, and substance abuse affects every family in Clinch County.
It does. It affects every family.
And do you look at it as a sickness?
Absolutely. Yeah, it is. It affects every family in the United States in one way or another, alcohol or drugs or both. You know, it doesn't matter whether you're rich, poor, black, or white.
That's
you
right.
know,
Just locking them up is not going to cure.
No,
not fix the problem.
it's not. You know, the first thing you have to do is separate those individuals from that environment. You know, somehow.
That's right.
Obviously, they're not going to, you know, kick the habit if they're in that same environment. Or if you send them to, you know, a facility and they come back to the same environment, then you just you're not really doing anything. But yeah, you know, you got to give those individuals, you know, in rehab, they teach them the 12-step process, and they give them tools on how to be productive citizens out in society without using. And they'll tell you, you know, they're going to have those issues every day for the rest of their life.
That's right.
As long as they're on this earth, they're going to have those issues. And they teach them just to take one day at a time.
Man, I got several friends just like you do, and it teaches them accountability.
Yeah.
And, you know, do you get that? There's no cure.
Yeah, it gives them some structure.
That's right.
You know, to go off of. You know, they don't need a lot of spare time, downtime.
That's right.
You know, the thought process is what you have to change with an addict, because you know, once your mind's the most powerful thing around, and once your mind gets that thought process, then that person will carry that out if they don't change that thought process. Right. So, you know, and then sometimes, you know, you have to lock them up.
That's right. I mean, that's right.
Sometimes you have to.
Yeah.
You know, our agency tries to go through that process of, you know, breaking up that individual from that environment, giving them some rehabilitation and counseling and tools, but then also, you know, incarcerating them too if that's what they need at the end.
And that's going to be some of your strengths running for sheriff, because you've been in that for 30 years.
I've seen it. Yeah, I've been in it and I've seen it. I've had to deal with it. You know, and you know, just like you love your kids and I love mine.
That's exactly
you know,
right.
Everybody loves their kids, and sometimes, you know, the families can't make those tough decisions, and it takes law enforcement or someone else to step in there and make those tough decisions. But
there's no easy fix there, brother.
There's not. And look, you know, if somebody needs to go to jail, I'm all for it.
That's right.
You know, but at the same time, just because folks make mistakes or bad choices or bad decisions don't make them a career criminal.
That's exactly right.
So, you know, I always told my folks when I had a caseload, if you want to stay out of jail, I'll help you.
That's right.
You know, but if you're just dying to go back, you know, I'll help you too.
That's right.
But
well, man, not only was you on the rec board, you're still right now the chairman of the Board of Education.
Yeah, this is my 8th year on the Board of Education, and boy, I tell you, you talking about a tough position.
Well, one thing about it, man, being on the board and the rec board, you know how to look at a budget. That's one thing about it. Because you're handling taxpayers' money.
That's right.
You know, I mean,
that's right.
You got to be held accountable, and you have been.
That's right. And you know, with the rec board, we dealt with around $100,000 budget. You know, and with the school board, we're dealing with a $10 million budget. And look, I mean, you know, every dollar counts when you're looking at tax money.
That's right.
You know, if the millage rates raise just, you know, 1 point, that could add $100 to somebody's taxes that just can't stand it.
And this time, man, with the virus going on, it's hard times, man.
It's going to be tough. You know, Georgia's lost some revenue during this time with the virus, and it's going to affect next year's budget. But you know, to me, that's one of the main things. You know, working with any agency, local agency, is tax money.
That's right.
And you can't spend that money like it's your money.
Nope.
You got to spend it just like you're spending your own money, and you can't waste any. You know, and I feel like that we've got room to redirect a good bit of money in the Sheriff's Department's budget, going into some things that we need more than what they've been spending the money on now.
Well, John, you've been around and working. What's the average deputies? I don't even know how many Clinch County has, I guess 7 or 8, I don't know.
Yeah, I think around 8.
Is that something
9.
you would look, or is that something you're all for, hiring new deputies when you come in to add a few more?
Well, obviously when you, when you have a change of leadership, you're gonna end up with some empty positions.
That's right.
Some personnel changes, and that's just part of what you got to do as a leader. Through the years I've learned that the best approach is when you take over something new like that is just give yourself about 30 days just to observe, and look and see what's been done.
That's right.
And what's happening, where the money's going and that sort of thing, and then start making some changes, little by little. But yeah, you'll have some new deputies, I'm sure, along the way. I feel like that. I think they've got the deputies working now on a 7-on, 7-off type of shift. I don't really like that. I don't think it's real effective. And like I was saying earlier, I think we can redirect some money from where they've been buying vehicles.
That's right.
We can move that money into hiring other deputies so that we can have some more deputies. One thing I want to do is I want to put a deputy in Fargo, at least in some type of zone close to Fargo, so that at any given moment, if somebody from Fargo needs help, within 5 minutes or less, we can have somebody there.
Well, man, I mean, that's just smart. I know we was at the rec park when they just see the presence of a police officer or deputy, it calms everything down, and I'm sure it works the same way out here in the public.
Yeah, it does. I mean, officer presence is your first line of use of force. Just like you see some of these towns where, you may be speeding through town and you see a police car sitting there and you automatically hit your brake.
Yeah, that's right.
There's places where nobody has been in those cars for years, and you even know that there's nobody in there.
I got a dummy up, but I still hit my brakes every time I go over there.
It's just, instinct to do that, but yeah, so.
Well, man, we're going to take another break, and we're going to come back and finish up with Mr. John Davis. He's running for sheriff here at Clinch County. I'm Alan Henley. We'll be right back.
And then along came Walker Jones.
You know Walker Jones is the automotive superstore. But did you know we're also the Super Service Center? That's right. With more than 56 bays, Walker Jones does as much service on all major brands as all the other service centers in town combined. And we're loaded with experienced professional ASC certified mechanics to get the job done right the first time.
Hey, I'm Jim, coming down to see us for service at the home of the Lifetime Warranty. Lifetime.
For the best pizza and wings in town any day of the week, check out Huey's One Stop in Homerville. Drop by, fuel up, and let Mr. Nick Patel and staff serve you some mouth-watering pizza and wings that you won't soon forget. Or just take that favorite pizza and box of wings home. Call 912-487-2338 to order your pizza and wings every Friday night after the game. Huey's One Stop, 193 Church Street, Homerville. Jerry J's Hog and Bones in Homerville is the restaurant for any time of day, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner, or that special holiday meal. From pancakes to pulled pork and chicken salad to ribeye steak, Jerry J's Hog and Bones has the best food and service around. Oh yeah, and don't forget our great catering service. Go Panthers! Lee Engineering and Construction Company in DuPont, Georgia has been a part of the community since 1935 and is proud to support Clinch County athletics. The prayer of the entire Lee Engineering family is that our Lord and Savior will richly bless our schools, community, and nation. Dairy Queen is a proud part of our local communities and is cheering our sports teams on to championship seasons. Drop by before and after the game to say hello to Mr. Ash and his entire crew and enjoy the full Dairy Queen menu, including our famous grilled burgers, artisan-style sandwiches, and chicken strips. Cool off with our renowned smoothies, slushies, malts, and iced coffees. Try our fabulous desserts and take an ice cream cake home for that special occasion.
or just to treat the family, dine in or take out at Dairy Queen locations in Homerville, Blackshear, Folkestone, and Fernandina Beach. See you at the DQ.
At Burt CPAs, helping small businesses with their accounting needs is our business. We have offices in Homerville, Waycross, Alma, and Baxley. Burt's professionals are ready to serve you no matter your location. We are your team for accounting, bookkeeping, tax, and financial advice. In Homerville, call firm partner Adam Toll, 912-490-7142.
You're watching Creekbox TV.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Sports Talk. I'm Alan Hanley, along with my good buddy John Davis, and we are live here on Creekbox. John is running for sheriff of Clinch County. And man, we're still called Sports Talk, John, but Barry and Daniel, that they're working on, we're going to change the name, Talking with Alan or something. I don't know what we're going to do, Creekbox or something, because there's no sports going on. So, but as much as I like to talk, we'd call it something.
That's right.
Man, I'm going to give you an opportunity here, John, to talk to the voters of Clinch County and tell them why they should vote for John Davis. So go ahead, brother. Okay. It's all yours.
Well, I'd just like to tell the voters that, I feel like I've got the experience, the education, and leadership abilities to put a team together to protect and serve this great community that I was born and raised in and been a part of all my life. We love this community, Marion and I, and we've raised our children here, and this community just means everything to me and my family. And to me, being sheriff is much more than just toting a badge and a gun, and it's so much more than just law and order. I feel like that the sheriff and the police department, all law enforcement, can be a big part of having networking, with the local churches, local businesses, any other entities like, substance abuse programs or whatever that we can do and build and network and brainstorm together to pick up the slack on some of our children, that are falling by the wayside as young teenagers. Right. In this community, we have a lot of athletes come through here, and we have, like back in 2016, I think we had about 10 kids to get college scholarships. That's right. And I think some of them's back home, and a lot of times here in Clinch County, there's not a lot to do. So they get involved in gangs and drugs and crime. And to me, that's a community problem. It's not a family problem anymore. It's a community problem. So I feel like that I've got that experience to be able to network and go out and reach out and do that with these other agencies and other resources to pick up the slack there. Right. We've got to be able to do something, because obviously if we can get these young people back on track ahead of time before they get in the criminal justice system, then obviously it's going to make our jobs a lot easier in the long run.
That's right.
So, I just want to tell the people that I appreciate all the ones I've talked to so far. Been out talking to a lot of folks and got a lot of their suggestions and opinions and recommendations, because I don't know it all. I don't. I've got a lot of experience, but I don't know it all, and it takes a group effort, team effort to build this community up, bring it back together. I feel like our community is, it's getting away from us a little bit, and I feel like that our law enforcement's not doing enough to bring our community back together. But again, I just like to tell everyone I appreciate your prayers. Please continue to pray for me and my family, and vote Republican on June the 9th and vote for positive change. Vote for John Davis for sheriff, and I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Man, brother, we appreciate you taking the time and coming here on Sports Talk. And John, I understand they can go ahead and vote now When does the early voting start? Has it started yet?
They can. Early voting starts May the 18th.
May the 18th.
But the ones that got their absentee applications for their absentee ballots, some of those absentee ballots are already coming back in. So you can fill those out and go ahead and vote, mail it back in if you'd like. You'll still have an opportunity if you don't want to send in an absentee ballot to vote in person on June the 9th. But
Well, man, brother, we appreciate you taking the time to come here and talk about some of the Clinch County problems, man, and you're running for sheriff and something you wanted to do for a while, man. Brother, we love you and we appreciate you coming, man.
thank you. Thank y'all very much.
You're watching Creekbox TV.